So I watched Star Trek Discovery, and I have to say, what a pile of crap. I mean, did they honestly go out of their way to make sure to disrespect as much of the source material that they possibly could? Did they even watch any Star Trek before making this show? The fact that it's 10 years before Kirk, I got news for you, ladies and gentlemen, who made this show. 10 years before Kirk, the Enterprise existed. It was under the command of Captain Robert April, if I'm not mistaken. The ships in this were entirely unremarkable. The Klingon ships was just an insult to our intelligence. The Klingons themselves were an insult to our intelligence. It was just awful. Awful. The main character is entirely unlikable, ends up being a criminal in the end, and you don't even see the main ship in the first two episodes, that, the Discovery, of which the show is named after. You don't see the captain, like the captain that eventually ends up, captaining the Discovery in the first two episodes. It's just a mess, an absolute mess. All of the Star Trek superficialities of Star Trek are there, the sounds, the terminology, but the central theme is not there. The soul is not there. It's just empty. Ugh. It was terrible, just terrible. Ugh. As a Star Trek fan, I'm insulted, and I certainly ain't paying to watch this crap. I'm not even going to watch it if it's free. I believe in Canada it's on Space, but it looks terrible. I mean, it's generic science fiction series number 24. That's all it really is, just wrapped in the Star Trek label, or as Star Trek in name only. It's terrible. I can't believe they actually made a fleet space battle boring. That was quite an accomplishment, by the way. There's a moment where all the Federation ships warp in, and they engage the Klingon ships. That should have been epic as shit, and it was It was so boring. It had no weight to it. It was just, oh, look there goes there's a Federation ship. Not like it's like you have to care about these characters to actually have any emotion if they die or not. It's terrible. Ugh. The main character is just unlikable and narcissistic and just ugh. She belongs in the brig. She commits mutiny against her captain. Ugh, it's just awful. Makes me pine for the days of Enterprise, and I very much dislike Enterprise. Deep Space Nine was the last Star Trek series I really enjoyed. Voyager, it was all right. It was lame, but I still watched it until the end. It wasn't on the level of Deep Space Nine or Next Generation. That's when the decline started to really happen in quality of Star Trek. And I actually don't mind the J.J. Abrams movies. They're an interesting distraction, but the fact is they're in an alternate timeline, so it doesn't really matter. This was supposed to be in the prime timeline. Sure as hell doesn't look like it. Ugh. Just no. Star Trek's dead. Just dead. Just actually no. Not really. Star Trek lives on, but as the Orville, which is what I'm going to be watching from now on. If I can stand Seth MacFarlane's humor for a while, I don't know, it kind of gets a little bit, it kind of gets a little bit of annoying at sometimes, but the Orville is really strong. I'd recommend that if you're a Star Trek fan instead of Star Trek Discovery. I mean, no, just terrible pilots. Nothing happens. It's just boring as shit. And I mean, it starts off somewhat all right with beautiful visuals and stuff like that, but then it goes so downhill so fast. Yeah. So yeah, no. Star Trek Discovery is a piece of shit. I'm not watching any more episodes. Star Trek is dead to me now unless they reboot it properly. in the prime timeline with in the proper timeline with proper canon timeline, and that's it.